If you are a bigger guy doing yoga and you're hoping to avoid knee pain and also learn how to modify the poses for you, check out this routine. I've got Jesse. This is our big and tall yoga expert. We're going to be modifying the poses around the belly and also helping you avoid knee pain. So give it a shot. We're going to move into a standing forward fold. So for this, definitely want to have some blocks, and Jesse's going to talk about the modifications.
All right, perfect. Like Dean said, blocks. Blocks are your friend. If you're a taller guy, if you're a bigger guy, get some blocks. Use some blocks. If you don't have a block, stack of books, foam roller, chair. You may need to stack blocks if you have smaller ones. If you have something bigger, great. So for standing forward fold, we start at the top of the mat, or really anywhere on the mat. Nice long inhale. I like to flow into my forward fold, so we're going to do an inhale, raise our hands up. On the exhale, we're going to lean forward slowly into a forward fold, leading with the chest the whole time. It's going to get to a point, especially for me, you can keep going, Dean, where I feel like I have to bend my knees or else my back is going to start to round. So it's usually when I get to this point right here that I feel that tightness in my hips. And so I bend my knees a little bit and it allows me to bring my hands down. So this right here is a pretty effective forward fold for me. My chest is leading. My core is engaged, my knees are bent. The longer that I am in a forward fold, the more open they get. So you gotta kind of be patient with it.
I really like the way that you got into it too, because when you do that, it forces you to be active.
Yeah.
Because it's not passive.
Yeah.
So that's a really good way to get into it.
Yeah, especially the little L right there. My core was already engaged. And like I said, I can already feel my hips opening a little bit. It was just in the past year that I was actually able to get into a full forward fold. But like right here, my knees are bent, I'm leading with my chest. I'm not rounding my back, there's a natural curve to it, but my core is engaged, so there's zero back pain.
So what would it look like if you were newer?
If I was newer, it'd be like this. I would just be rounding my gut, my back, and I can't really breathe, and this hurts my back. Yeah. So if I lead with the chest and I engage my core, I can really get into it intentionally.
Yeah, and keep in mind that Jesse is pretty flexible here, right? So for someone else, you don't want to force your chest down. It's starting with, let me get a hamstring stretch first, and then if I can fold my chest too, great. But the goal here is primarily that hamstring stretch and a safe neutral lower back. Yeah,
and like I said earlier, this right here could be your forward fold. It's good to not compare yourself to anyone else in yoga, because this right here, if you're struggling and you're feeling it, then stop here. It may not look like a pretty forward fold, but my body can definitely feel the effects of it. So
yeah, and we've been hanging out here for a while. Yeah. So keep in mind, it's gonna like folding down.
Yeah. I'm definitely feeling a lot more flexible than I was when I started.
Yeah. So don't. So anyways, keep your head up above your hips if you're going to do it for a long period of time. Otherwise, if you are going to go down, we can do, I don't know, like 30 seconds, I feel like.
30 seconds is a good place to start.
Maybe, yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and come on out of that one. If you swan dive out of it, there we go. Nice little back bend, bending at the hips, and bring our hands down. All right, next we're going to do a downward dog. So we can go ahead and stay where we are at the top of the mat. And I'm going to kind of guide it through the way we did the forward fold. So nice long inhale, get those hands up. On the exhale, let's go ahead and hinge forward at the hips, bring our hands down. Our hands are on the ground. And let's go ahead and step back into a plank. Now for downward facing dog, there are many modifications that you need to use, or you can use. Like Dean was about to use, the blocks are a really good one to keep in mind, because what it does is it brings your hands up off of the ground, and then you can also use like a staircase. So sometimes having your hands all the way down on the ground for downward facing dog is difficult. So elevating them onto a block might be a good modification for you. And something else I like to keep in mind is if I lead with my butt, I can bend my knees. So I bend my knees already because I know that when my butt goes up and my shoulders are down and back and my chest is forward, if I bend my knees, it allows my back to stay straight, because I don't want my pelvis to be scooped under. Because if I were to straighten my knees, my lower back is rounded. So if I start with bent knees and I lead with my butt, I can kind of get to that point where This feels good. I have a nice long straight back all the way from my hands up to my hips. And then once I'm there, I can work on straightening those knees. But if I feel my lower back get around, that's when I kind of lay off. And then that right there is an effective downward facing dog with your knees bent.
And if you don't know what you look like in a downward facing dog, this is where recording yourself is a really good idea. So you can just prop up a camera a few feet to the side of you, film yourself sideways, and then you can look at your back and see what it's doing. Most people don't know what it looks like.
All right, and then go ahead and put your knees down from there.
Hey guys, I hope this video is helping you. Even if the video doesn't have big or tall in the title, keep in mind I give a lot of modifications. I've got a free 30-day Manful Yoga Challenge here on YouTube. Link in the description below. Check it out when we're finished.
Next pose is...
We want to show that modified version. So this is on the wall too. Mm-hmm. So if you're doing a down dog, even that can be difficult. Mm-hmm. So if you find a wall, this is a great way to do it. So Jess, you want to show the wall modification?
Sure. So we want to get that same shape that we had with an inverted downward facing dog, but against the wall. So I'm hinging at the hips. I'm placing my hands on the wall. My knees are also going to be bent here, so I can get that long upper body from my hips to my hands. And then once I'm here, I have that long straight line. My back is straight, my knees are bent. My pelvis isn't curved under or scooped under. I can focus on opening up here and then straightening my knees slowly. And then once again, once I feel that my back starts to round, I want to bend those knees a little bit.
Yeah, so the trick here is trying to think of almost arching your back, right? It's impossible to arch your back when you're in this position, but if you can think of trying to arch your back and reaching your tailbone upward, that's going to help you put in the right position for your pelvis and your lower back. And that's something that a lot of people don't understand the first time or take some practice to get, but if you can do that, you're going to feel a lot more open through the hamstrings, and your back's going to be in a lot better position. And I love this down dog in general because it takes a lot of the stress of having to hold up your body weight when you're doing it on the ground. You don't need as much core strength. You can really get a nice stretch. So even for me, I like utilizing that modification just because it's easier.
Yeah, you can hold it longer and it's easier to breathe.
Right.
So I really felt it a lot better that way. So it's a good modification, keep in mind.
Cool.
Next pose is going to be up dog. So if you were in that plank, we can go ahead and go from that into up dog. So let's go ahead and back to where we were. All right, so we're back in plank for up dog. Start in plank. I like to inhale, and on the exhale, I drop my hips down and forward, my shoulders back. And if it's more comfortable for you, you can stay on your toes here, or you can flip those feet traditionally. And the goal with up dog is keep your shoulders down and back, chest forward, looking forward, hips off the ground, which I know from experience a lot of people struggle with. So if you get to that point and it's just too much, go ahead and place those hips on the ground in seal pose. I want to keep all 10 toes and my knees on the ground, shoulders down and back.
Yeah, so the modification here is that the hips going down then.
Yeah, the modification is hips on the ground because traditionally, up dog is here and it's almost like a full body muscle activation stretch.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a lot, especially if you have some extra weight, put those hips down, and it's still a very effective pose to have. It's also a good modification for cobra pose because you get that weight off the ground. Because if we were laying down with our chest and our stomach down, you know, it can get a little hard to breathe. So let's take one more breath. I think we've held this one long enough.
I think so.
Let's tuck those toes. Feel free to put those knees down and walk yourself on back.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more. We've got more of these videos coming. More of these videos already on the YouTube channel. Like it if you found it useful. If you have another question, leave it in the comment section. Guys, I hope to see you in another video soon. And if you want to see the first video from the series, go ahead and click on Jesse's head.